Do you ever feel like your life changes completely from one season to the next? This time last year, I was a free-spirited traveler. I'd spent 3 years living all around the world, from the Costa Rican jungle to the beautiful Portuguese sea, and I had the most incredible time. But now I've learned that every season has its reason. And so fast forward to today, I'm back home in my home country. I'm living a life that is a lot more predictable, a lot more comfortable, a lot more based on a routine. And this is an important season for me. It's got a very important reason. And so the purpose of this video is to serve as a reminder that whatever season you're going through right now, there is a reason within the season. This time last year, I was living the high life. I was living a life of spontaneous travel. I was really putting myself out there, and for me, this was way out of my comfort zone. I'd left behind a very safe, comfortable 9-to-5 job to go and travel the world, and I made it work for 3 years. And this was such an incredible experience for me because it gave me the opportunity to really put myself out there and grow and meet other people and to experience different ways of life. And so that season of being the free-spirited traveler had its reason. But it got to a point where I noticed that I was lacking that stability. I wasn't feeling grounded. I wasn't feeling like I could truly build something worth building because I was always on the move. And so it got to a point where I decided that, hey, it's time to come home. It's time to plant my feet in the earth and start building a strong foundation. Because if you want to build anything great in life, it all starts with a strong foundation. And in order to have a strong foundation, you must be able to clear away anything that is in the way of that strong foundation. You must clear away the debris, clear away the clutter, clear away the noise. And so for me, that is what I'm doing right now. I'm back home in Australia. I'm living a pretty predictable, simple life, but I'm learning to love this season as well because there is a reason within this season. So what season are you going through right now? Are you going through a breakup? Are you in a relationship that you know deep down isn't serving you? And so you're going through this season where you want to let go, but there's something keeping you stuck. And so remember the season that you're in, despite the fact that it might be hard and might be challenging, you're in this season for a reason. You see, a great farmer isn't planting seeds every single season. There's seasons where they will plant and seasons where they will sow. And so this is why, in my opinion, you must embrace the different seasons within your life. This is why I'm learning to embrace the different seasons within my life. Because when I was traveling as the free-spirited traveler, yes, it was amazing, yes, it was exciting, but at the same time, it was ungrounding, it was chaotic, and it was busy, and it never felt like I could get my head above water. It felt like I was just getting my head above water, but I kept getting pulled down. And so now what I've realized, in order for me to build an awesome business, in order for me to have a thriving family, in order for me to have a great relationship, I need that stability. I need a bit more structure. And I'm not saying that I couldn't have achieved this whilst traveling. I'm sure that that would have been achievable. But for me, it just made sense to come back home, to re-situate myself, to ground myself, and to build from the ground up. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I must say, it is both challenging and beautiful at the same time because there's all this societal pressure. Like you've got to have a home and you've got to have kids and you've got to have a mortgage and you've got to have a great job. And then there's the pressure of not being there yet and seeing so many other people getting there and feeling like I'm not where I'm meant to be. So there is this resistance that can sometimes come up when I'm comparing myself to other people and where they are. But I remind myself that they're in their own season and I'm in my own season as well. And so I'm learning to see the reason within the season that I'm in. And so I invite you to consider what season you're in right now and what is the reason within this season. And even if right now you feel disempowered or you feel frustrated or you feel like life is happening to you, see if you can look underneath the surface and ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What is the underlying lesson or blessing that may be within this season that you're currently in? This is where the true opportunity for growth begins. And I believe that once you really see the reason within the season that you're in, and you can embrace the season that you're in, well, a next season is going to come. Remember that the season you're in right now isn't the end. In fact, it could just be the beginning, or it could be the breaking down of what was to make way for what is and what's yet to come through. And so this is something that I'm learning, but this is something that I had to go after and experience myself. This is something that I had to go and do myself. And my mum has always said to me, Jake, it doesn't matter how many times I tell you not to do something, you go and do it anyway. And I said, well, Mum, that's because I got to figure it out for myself. Because I find personally that I learn through my own experience. I can read as many books as I want. I can invest in as much personal growth, coaches, mentors as I want. But at the end of the day, I've got to do the thing. That's how I get to meet a deeper part of myself. And that's how I get to learn. That's how I get to grow. And so this is why in this season right now, I am building my business. I am working a full-time job. I am being a member of a family. I'm living here at home with my family. And I have my girlfriend overseas in London. I'm in a long distance relationship. And yes, she's going to be coming here soon and I'm bloody excited about it. But there are so many different things that are happening in my life right now. And there's a part of me that wishes that I was back overseas, traveling and living spontaneously and not having so many obligations. But I had to come back here to ground myself and to build from the ground up, because I am going to be a family man. I am going to be a father. I am going to be a husband. And now I'm seeing the benefit within committing myself to something, because that gives me freedom to move within that commitment. But what I noticed is when I was overseas, I was kind of flaky and it was hard for me to stay in one particular place because there were so many places that I could travel. I want to build something worth building. A loving family, an awesome business that gives me the freedom to do more of what I want. I need a strong and solid foundation. I need that stability. I need a routine. I need a safe environment. I need my own space. And when I was traveling, I was in other people's spaces, I was sharing spaces, I had my own spaces, but they weren't really my own spaces because yes, there are houses out there, but nothing compares to a home. And I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that I have a loving mother and father, and I have two younger brothers that are awesome as well, and I get along with my family, and I have a home to come home to. And so that was another thing that pulled me back home to Australia, was to be with my family. And so that season had many reasons and many lessons and many blessings. So I invite you to consider what season you're currently in and what may this season be trying to teach you. What may be the reason within this season? And I invite you to share it in the comments below, because I would love to hear what kind of season you're going through. So this expansive season of being young Jake, the free-spirited traveler with the long hair who didn't really care, was an absolute blessing. It was a gift, and I'm so grateful that I left that 9-to-5 job and I booked that one-way flight to the US and I allowed the journey to unfold in the way that it did. I am incredibly blessed and grateful for everything that that season brought me. But it's also helped me be incredibly grateful for the season that I'm in right now. Even though it's not as exciting, even though it's a little bit mundane, it's a little bit boring, it's a little bit predictable. Sometimes transitioning between seasons can feel confusing. It can feel like I've got to undergo this death and this dissolving of what I thought I was. And it can feel frustrating. It can feel limiting. But I'm learning to see that within each season there is a reason. And even if I may not see what that reason is right now, that is okay. Because there is a lot that I cannot see. And so for me, learning to trust the season that I'm in, even if I can't understand it and make sense of it, this helps me get through each season. This helps me see the best within each day and within each moment. And yes, there are moments where I struggle. There are moments where I feel frustrated. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss the freedom of travel. But it's just a reminder that every season has its reason. Even if you can't see the reason right now, trust in the bigger picture. Step outside of the frame, see if you can see life from a higher perspective. And if you can't, that's also okay. There doesn't have to be a reason for every single thing that happens in life. But in my opinion, regardless of what is happening in my life, I choose to see life as happening for me. I choose to see life as not happening to me, but rather happening through me and happening for me, and leading me closer towards my heart, leading me closer towards my purpose, and leading me closer towards just embracing the moment that I'm in right now. Because the past is already gone. The future doesn't even exist yet. So all I have is right now. So I'm going to choose to drop in and be where my own 2 feet are. And that's what this season is about. Maybe you're in a season of change too. Whether you're exploring, rebuilding, or simply slowing down. There's something valuable in each phase. Wherever you are, trust that even if you don't see the bigger picture right now, trust that this is happening for you. Wherever you are, trust that this season is part of your bigger journey. It's setting you up for all that is yet to come, even if it may feel unclear right now. If I can leave you with one thing, it's this. Embrace the season you are in, even if it feels different to what you expected. Take a moment to ask yourself, what is this season trying to teach me? Have an amazing day.